So hello everyone and welcome to Battle Fantasy V's second optional dungeon, the Mineshaft Maze. So first off, where's the entrance to the Mineshaft Maze? Well, it's right here in this street. Here you can see it's the southeastern wall of the Iron Fortress. You have to have bought the deluxe version of Epic Battle Fantasy V either on Steam or somewhere else. In order to play this, you cannot play this dungeon on the free version. So entering this, we have a maze ahead of us, and the question is, what does this maze look like? So I'm going to show you this right here, and you can see this is what the maze looks like. Now don't be scared, it looks ridiculous, but it's actually a lot simpler than it looks, because this maze fits into a 9x9 grid, where each room is one tile in this grid. And as you can see, for example, this is the room with the entrance, there's this square in the middle, and then you have a whole bunch of rooms all over the place. And what makes this maze so maze-like and so ridiculous is the fact that this maze loops in on itself. So if you, for example, go all the way to the west side of the maze and you continue on, you actually pass over into the maze again. So this maze basically wraps vertically and it wraps horizontally. So if you know that, you only really need to worry about the central actual maze, the only maze there is. I mean, it wraps. I've just copy-pasted it for clarity's sake. So what does this map show us? Like I said, each room is one of these squares, and the black lines are walls. Now, these are not just walls, these are also just paths, where if you go that path, there might be just a crumbled wall in front of you. I think somewhere over here, there's a path where you can walk, where it looks like you can walk through to the next screen, but as soon as you reach the next screen, you're gonna be behind a wall of rubble, so it might, I just noted it as a black wall. So the red line here is the line that shows you how to reach the boss, because all the way down here is a ladder that reaches to the boss. I've also marked in here the treasure chests like this. I've also marked enemy encounters, these X's, and I've also marked the special puzzle area, which is down here. Now that you know all of that, I'm going to show you the entire map again. Feel free to pause the video, and this is what the entire map looks like. These are all the treasure chests are, where all the enemies are, where the puzzle area is, and where the boss is. These are the most important things to worry about in this map. So if you just take a look at this map, and you remember that if it's like a grayed out part like this, you can walk through here. These black walls, you can't walk through there. Nice. So first off, let's not talk too much about the maze itself, because once you have this map, you can just follow the path, you find all the treasure chests, you avoid the enemy encounters. You don't need to avoid them. I mean, if you reach the screen and has an enemy, you don't need to fight the enemy, you can walk past the enemy. So you don't actually need to fight a single enemy in this entire maze, apart from one enemy right before the boss. Or two enemies if you want to go to the puzzle area, because the puzzle area also has an enemy right in front of it. So you can just walk around here and you go to the puzzle area. Now the puzzle is quite devious, and I'm just not gonna talk too much about this. I'm just gonna show the solution on screen right now, as you can see right here. I just took the footage from my casual playthrough. Usually when I see a puzzle, I just think about the solution in my head before I then go and do the solution. So I do actually end up basically doing the entire solution in one go, because I was like, it like take a few minutes beforehand to think about the solution. Over here, okay, now we have to go down here. Okay, what do we do from here? I think I got it. I want to accidentally screw it up now. And I even got to the exit without having to step on another one. Nice. Okay. Now with that puzzle out of the way and having gotten a bunch of cool stuff, we now go back and we make our way towards the boss. Before we go to the boss, there's first one enemy group in front of the boss that we have to fight. It's a 5-wave encounter. The first, the third, and the fifth wave are dangerous waves, while the second and fourth waves are waves that are not quite as dangerous, where you can calm down, you can heal up, you can buff up again, and all that good stuff. We've already fought all these enemies before, so we're not going to talk too much about this. And after that we get to the boss. The boss is the Neon Valhalla tank, which is very similar to Lance's other Neon Valkyrie tank, I think it was called. It just has a bunch of turrets on top of it that you have to repeatedly take out. Among these turrets are the Giga Harpoon, the Earthquake Bomb, the Acid Bomb, and a Shockwave Bomb as well. Did I mention that one twice? Well, there's 3 types of bombs that can be on top of the tank. So because there can be 3 different types of bombs, and there's only one turret that actually attacks, which is the harpoon, there might actually be another type of turret, but I've never encountered it in like a 30-minute fight, so I think those are like the only 4 types of turrets that can be on top of it. The tank itself has, on normal, about 3.3 million HP, so this is going to be a very long fight. However, the tank itself doesn't really do that much mega burst damage. If you've got a lot of defense lined up and you've got something to counteract the stagger, this is something to keep in mind. The weather here is Earthquake. It's very nice to go into this fight with having immunity to stagger, and a lot of high physical defense helps as well. So high stagger resistance, physical defense helps a lot against this tank, and you should be fine not taking that much damage. However, he heals every turn, he has a lot of HP, he keeps summoning turrets, so it's going to be a really long fight. This is going to be one of those fights that just take a really long time. You're not in that much danger at any point in time. You're just gonna have to keep dealing with the turrets. And this is also what I can tell you, is just go for lightning damage, thunder damage, get Matt's thunder damage sword, you can see right here on screen. If you upgrade it, it counters with slicing cyclone, which means that when Matt gets attacked, most of the time he's gonna throw his sword at all the enemies, and if you then also use his slicing cyclone on him specifically, he's gonna be taking out all of these bombs and turrets very quickly, even on higher difficulties. And most importantly though, his weapon has stun on it, and if you'd also use Natalie's lightning attack all the time on all the enemies, all of those turrets, they're gonna get stunned. Quite a lot actually. Especially if you then use some equipment that makes it more likely to inflict status equipments, you can repeatedly stun all the bombs and turrets that are on top of the tank. And the cool part is, if there's a bomb on top of the tank and you stun the bomb timer will not advance, so you can just repeatedly keep the bombs stunned and you don't actually need to worry about them. If you like throw your weapon, for example, and you stun all the turrets immediately, or you have like a lightning combo and stun all the turrets like that, you don't need to worry about that anymore. You can just keep doing damage to the tank. So just keep stunning them if you can, using that lightning damage all over the place. The tank itself is also quite weak to earth damage, so if you don't want to use the lightning damage sword on Matt, which you totally should, you could also go for earth damage and just use the earth spike. Though, interesting enough, if you have the lightning weapon equipped, it's still better, at least to what I figured out, to still use the earth attack that Matt has, the eruption I think it's called, on the tank itself, because it takes so much more damage from earth attacks. So yeah, that was the boss. It takes a really long time, you're going to be in for a really long time, just play it safe. This is what I can tell you, play it safe. And that's that. Afterwards you're gonna have to walk out again, or if you want to, you can just save the game and reload, because if you save the game and reload, it's gonna put you at the very beginning of the maze. So that's pretty good. That was good. Hope you guys enjoyed it. See you guys next time.